We're going to create a Backup Exec deduplication disk so we can minimize the amount of storage that Backup Exec uses when it backs up. So the idea is when you have multiple files with the same name, same everything about them, it will only back up one of the files rather than all of them, which saves space and time. So we need to do a couple of things before we create our Backup Exec deduplication storage. We need to create a user that's not the same user that's being used for regular Backup Exec. Now, in my case, I'm using Active Directory. If you have a standalone server, then you can choose a local user as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Users, and from here, I'm just going to go ahead and right-click, choose New, User. I'm just going to call it Backup. And I'll give it the same name, and I'll put in a password. Uncheck, user must change to password never expires, and finish. All right, so that's the first thing we want to do. The second thing we want to do is we want to go to the storage device. In this case, we're using our E drive right here. I'm going to double click on the E drive, and we've got to create a folder. So I'm going to go ahead and create a folder. I'm just going to call it Backup Data or BE Data, because that's usually the folder name that they put in there anyway when you add a disk-based storage device. But you can call it whatever you want. And I'll go ahead and minimize that. And now we'll go into Backup Exec. So we're in the Storage tab at the top. We're going to click on Configure Storage. Let's go ahead and click Configure Storage. And we're going to choose a disk-based storage option because that's exactly what we have. If you have a different type, you can certainly do that as well. Now we've got the option for regular disk storage or deduplication. Of course, that's the one we're going to choose. Click Next. Now it gives it a default name of deduplication. I'll just go ahead and leave that and click Next. And now we see what drives we can add into deduplication disk storage devices. So if we hit the drop down, you can see it'll add either the C or the E drive. Now the C drive is the system drive, so that would be just silly to put it on there. So we want to put it on the E drive. Now if you don't see the drive that you want, it's for one simple reason. You did not add a folder like I told you to do at the beginning of the video. So go in and add a folder, and then it'll show up. So we're going to choose the E drive. Click Next. Now we can't use the system logon account. That's why we went and created a name to start with. So go ahead and click Add. We're going to click Add again. And I'm going to put in the name of the domain / the name of the user. I'll put in the password twice. And now we'll go ahead and click OK. And then we'll go ahead and choose that particular account and click OK. Put the password in one more time. And now we're good. Let's go ahead and click Next. You have the option to encrypt the data. However, in order to do encryption, you have to set up the keys ahead of time. So I'm just going to assume that you have not done that, and we'll choose to not enable encryption, and we'll do a separate video on encryption by itself. Go ahead and click Next. How many concurrent backup jobs do you want to allow at a time? 2 is the default, and that's pretty safe. If you do too many, then it might wear out your drives a little bit too soon. You do too few, and you won't get your backups done soon enough. So you kind of have to play with that until you get it the right way. So we're just going to leave it at 2. And now we'll go ahead and click Finish. And we've got the option here where it says it's recommended to exclude the disk storage device from all antivirus scans. So you need to go into your antivirus and make sure it does not try to scan your backup drive. So we'll go ahead and click Yes. Then we're told that we've got to restart the Backup Exec services. So we'll just go ahead and click Yes to that. And that usually takes about a minute or so to restart the services. So you just got to be patient. We'll just go ahead and fast forward to that point. And now we see our deduplication disk storage is online and ready to be used. So if we go to our backup jobs, let's go ahead and just double click on one of our jobs, and we can right click and choose Edit. And from here we'll click Edit again. And under Storage, we can just choose the default, use any disk storage, or we can specifically say use the deduplication disk storage, and do that for the incremental or differential job as well. And we'll click OK and OK. So now what's going to happen is if we have the exact same file duplicated on our servers, our server that we're backing up multiple times, it will only back it up once. instead of the 100 or 1,000 times that it sees that file. And that can save a lot of time. It can save a lot of storage, which can ultimately save you money. Not all devices are going to be compatible with deduplication. So you do need to go to veritas.com and look up the hardware compatibility before you purchase your device to make sure that it will work with deduplication. And that's how you set up deduplication in Veritas Backup Exec 20.